What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of Jackson versus Jackson. I'm Erik T. Jackson, one of your co-hosts here with my boy Ajay Jackson, and we are going to talk about some fun stuff for you today. It's our first show uh, in 2023, and so this makes it, uh, you know, only able to go up from here. It's our first, but it's gonna be possibly one of the best. What's up, AJ? How you doing, brother?
Doing good. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope everybody's had a good holiday season. I know I have since Thanksgiving to Christmas to New Year's.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Me too, man. A lot of sports on TV that I've been ingesting. Been spending a lot of time with my kids, my girl, and having a ball, man. How about you?
Yeah, man. I spent Thanksgiving with one of my best friends. He got his doctorate this summer. Uh,
Cleo, yes, sir.
yeah,
Shout out to Cleo Wadley, baby,
yes,
and the
Dr.
Pine
Cleo
Tree
Watley.
Pirates.
That's right, right. First African American principal for the school in 175 years, my homeboy. So, I went up there and hung out with him. And then
Yes, sir.
Christmas, hung out with a lot of friends. Jack, I'm not from here. I've
Hmm.
been living here for
Hmm.
26 years. So I'm really fortunate that, in my time here, when I haven't gone home to New Jersey, people have called me up and extended um hospitality and pleasantries to come by for Christmas
Yes, sir.
and New Year's. So just a great time to connect, man. And people that you don't see as often as you did because you live in a
Absolutely.
different area or
Right.
different things. A lot of those good things, man. Grandkids connected, my son, family members, people I used to hang out with at a different church. We used to do card parties for people's birthdays, and a lot of
Already.
that stuff got cut back because of COVID and then just life. So a
Absolutely.
lot of that restorative relationships.
That's right. That's right. So today we are going to talk about uh everything that's been happening, man, in NFL, college football. Let's get started. What you got for us, man?
All right, so I thought maybe the first thing we'll do since we're winding down the NFL season, right?
Hmm.
So let's go over a couple of things. Let's go over our predictions that we put out there at the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
and then also let's give a brief synopsis of where we are and where we hope our team will be going forward.
Okay.
And I'll let you start with the Texans.
I thought you was gonna start with the Cowboys, man.
Well, I got more to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, already. You right there, brother. Hey, let me just look at the Texans, we have two wins, right? And I think the pundits had an over under of maybe Vegas had an over under of 6.5, and I chose
Right,
the over.
right,
So I think I chose 7 wins. I'm not sure exactly the seven that's on their schedule, but they they missed miserably on that projection. And uh you know, as a diehard fan, uh I really I really wanted them to be better than they are, but once they proved to me who they are, my focus changed, you know. So instead of saying, okay, I want this team to win 7, 8 games so I can see growth. When I realized there was very little to no growth, I said, okay, now I don't care about seeing growth. I just want that number one overall pick, right? Uh, and so the last 5, 6 weeks, I've actually seen growth in this team. Not wins. We just beat the Tennessee Titans, but I haven't seen a lot of wins, but I have seen a little bit of growth. So, but that I'm sort of fine with that because it hasn't taken away from us being in the top position or second position in order for us to get us a quarterback because we've realized for a long time now that Davis Mills is not the answer. Okay. And I have no problems admitting I was wrong because at one point I did say he was the answer, and he is not. Yeah, I'm doing a 360 on that.
Well,
Uh,
Jack, let me just comment a little bit because I remember
uh-huh,
we kind of talked about what we thought he was and what he wasn't,
uh-huh.
and I said that the jury's still out. I said the first year he was brand new,
Mm-hmm.
and then Cully was brand new, and the whole coaching staff was brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie coach, first time as a head coach, rookie quarterback. Got to throw that out.
Yeah.
I thought that he's a quarterback, man. He got the physical tools, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have to protect him up the middle, and the other thing is he's gonna have to have a lot of really good talent around him,
Right.
all right? Because he's not um, Jalen Hurts that can get out of jams and still can throw the football.
No,
He's pretty much gonna be right where he is
right.
when
So
they come and rush him,
so this is
right?
what I see. Where even I mean, again, I was in his corner, but even with a lot of talent around him, I still think he'll be less than average, bro.
Well, here's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
He's on a rookie contract, right? So what
Mm-hmm.
he's done 2 years or three?
This is second year.
Okay, so that means as a third round pick, but their first pick, he's got at least 4 years with them, right?
Yep.
Okay, so they're gonna draft a quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they got what, three number one picks and four or seven picks in the first 2 rounds or something like that.
They've
So they're
got
gonna upgrade their talent with
uh-huh.
those picks, but
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be rookie raw like he was,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So next year, he'll know the system for 2 years, and they'll bring in one of the quarterbacks. It's supposed to be all that and that, and I think they'll share some time at the beginning. That's just my philosophy. Whoever they bring in, C.J. Stroud or the quarterback, they won't have to throw those guys right in, even though they know it's the future. But by the third or fourth game, if they're not
Mm-hmm.
3-3, that guy will be in there. That's just me talking as a coach
Yeah. Yeah.
without throwing guys in there and getting smashed.
Yeah.
Him having a little bit more talent around him. I mean, because if you got 7 picks in the first 2 rounds, and I mean, you should come out with some of the best players in some of those positions. They're gonna be
Well,
raw now.
they'll have that. They have two first rounders and they may have two second rounders. They don't have seven in the first 2 rounds, but they
I
may
thought
have.
they I thought they had three in the first round,
They have
and I
two in the first round this year and two in the first round next year.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So it's over a 2 year span where they have four first rounders.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. So,
I
you
thought
know,
they because I know you only get 7 picks, but I thought they got something like 9 picks or 10 picks this coming up year 2023.
over a 7 round draft, they may, but not
Yeah,
all in the first or second round.
okay, and then I thought they had something like 5 in the first 2 rounds or 6, something like that. No,
Not, mm-mm.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that's where I stand with them, man. So and I've gone on record on here saying that I believe CJ Stroud should be the quarterback taken. I just feel like him and Bryce Young, they bring a lot of the same qualities to the field. I think both of them have the mindset. They both can make the throws, but I think as far as a quarterback's mindset, that's like the most important thing to making the throws. And I think they both possess the same mindset. I feel like the thing that sets them apart though is CJ Stroud's physical size compared to Bryce Young. It may not hinder Bryce Young, but I think it'll help CJ a little more. All right. What's up
Yeah,
with the
I'm a Texan. Look, I want the Texan teams to do well.
yo?
I've been a Cowboy fan for 50 years, since I was 10.
Since the
You
last
know,
time they won a Super Bowl, huh?
well, this is what I tell the young people that are like under 30. See, they haven't experienced the Cowboys winning in the 70s and the 90s. So their drought feels a whole lot different than
Mm-hmm.
mine because I've
Mm-hmm.
seen them win pretty much all their Super Bowls that they do have, and
Mm-hmm.
even when they made it. So,
Yep.
but a guy that's 25, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say he's 35 and he was 10, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you about 8, 9, or 10, you understand what football is really about then,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep.
On your own, not just your dad or whatever.
Right.
So somebody that's 25 or 30, they haven't experienced the Cowboys like I've experienced them or somebody my age.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a different feeling.
That's right.
That's
That's
why so many people like the Patriots all over the
right.
world, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody was going with the winners, and they've been the winners the
Last
last what?
20 years.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right. So when we was kids, that's how we picked our teams. The teams that was winning. You was either a Pittsburgh Steelers fan or a
Uh,
Cowboy fan
yeah.
when I was coming up in high school.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's who won the Super Bowls in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a Bears fan, 10 years old when they won their Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Uh, okay, so what's up with the Cowboys, man? And your
Oh
predictions for them?
man, oh man, we took care of those Eagles, bro. We took care of those Eagles. We had to do that.
Gardner
And
Minshew.
yeah, well, but then you could say the first game, this is what I told somebody. I said, well, the first game you could say that Dak didn't play, right?
Yeah.
Even though that's not accurate because I said to you that they got manhandled against
Mm-hmm.
against the Eagle the first game, right?
Right. Yep.
Now that got a different skill set, right? But they got punched in the lips when they played the Eagles the first time. They went to uh Financial Field, Lincoln Financial Field,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they played on national television, and they couldn't run the football against Cox and what's the other young man, the number 1 draft pick that played defensive tackle for the Eagles that got
Oh,
drafted,
Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis. They couldn't block those guys, right?
Right. Right.
And they got manhandled. I'm one of the first ones to say that the Cowboys have a finesse offensive line when they
Yep.
go against stout players like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. You are
Right.
what you are.
You are what you
But
are.
I just think that you don't try to run up the middle against those guys right first
Mm-hmm.
when that's the strength and the teeth of their defense.
Right.
I think you got to kind of move them around and make them think and throw some screens. I'm talking about depending on the field position. But there's nobody, and I said this before, there's nobody on the Cowboys offensive line that can block uh, um, Cox one-on-one.
Oh, yeah,
And then
he's a
we
monster.
also, and we also talked about, hey, you got those 2 big tackles in there. You got to go 2 tight ends so the guard and the tackles can double team those guys. And then the
Mm-hmm.
tight ends got the end. And then if you're going to run, especially if you're going to run with Zeke there, then you can put a fullback in there so he can get the Mike linebacker.
Already.
Right. And then, after that, you got to make somebody miss. That's what you got to do,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, as coaching. So the Cowboys, I think they just got to realize who they are, what they do well, and mix some trickeration in there every now and then.
Yeah.
And the defense just got to play better. If they defense can play like they did in the first third of the season when they was
Uh-huh.
opportunistic and they made these plays and they was intercepting the ball. If they could play like they played the first 5 or 6 games of the season, they get back to that, and Dak is leading them to score what? They scoring over 35 points a game.
Right. Right.
But their defense to me is, Dak's throwing some interceptions, right?
Absolutely.
No, I call like I call it. Like somebody said that since he's been back, he's thrown the most interceptions in the games that he's been back.
Mm-hmm.
If that's a fact, that's a fact. I think he threw 10, right? Now, a couple of them, that ball that bounced off my man's chest and they intercepted the ball. It counts as an interception. But if you watch the game, that just was a ridiculous
Wasn't his fault.
well, it was it's a statistic though.
Mm-hmm.
But it
Mm-hmm.
was a key. What is it? What I call it a keystone cop play. You
Hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
he cut. he started slipping and falling down on his own cut. Nobody touched him. And then he's going down to his knees, and then the ball hits him in the chest and bounces up. When you look at the play was ridiculous.
Right, right. Yeah,
And that
no,
ended the game, right? When that was the last play of the game, right?
yeah,
That was overtime.
yeah.
So that's why you got to win the game while you have a chance to win the game. I
Hmm.
think the Cowboys mentality sometimes is we're going to win it in the end.
Right.
We're going to win it in the end. And when you're playing a tough game and a tough team and you're playing hard, yeah, you want that confidence. But what I didn't see the whole game against Jacksonville because I was in Atlanta
Okay.
when they played them. So they regionally showed the Falcons, right?
Right.
But when they cut in at the last bit of the game, and then I watched the highlights, the Cowboys was winning 27-10 in the third quarter. I didn't know that because I didn't see the game.
Yeah.
That's a defensive problem.
You mean Philadelphia was winning 27-10 in the third
No,
quarter.
no, no. I'm saying when they played the Jacksonville Jaguars and they
Oh,
lost
okay,
in
yeah.
overtime,
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't show the game. They showed the last 2 minutes of the game when they cut
Oh,
from the
okay.
Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I didn't see the game,
yeah,
but I saw the interception off his chest in overtime. As I
yeah.
only saw the last, I think they were winning. And I think Jacksonville came down and kicked the field goal at the end. I think that's what I saw, and it went to
Oh,
overtime,
right.
and then a ricochet for a touchdown.
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't know they were up 27-10 in the middle of the third quarter.
Right,
Now, of course, if the Cowboys sustained a drive or two and got some first downs, would have ran some up the clock or would have got points. That's what people were
right,
trying to blame Dak with.
right.
But dude, when you win in 27-10, that's three scores.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 17. Yeah.
Yeah, but we ready. I mean, I think we ready. I think we'll probably be in with a fourth or fifth position. I think.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all play uh the NFC West champion, maybe. Was it the NFC West champion? Because I don't know if y'all want the 49ers. I don't know if y'all want that smoke. Uh
Well, I tell you like this. After next week, we'll really know what the brackets are. So I haven't
sure.
really been following that.
Right, right, right.
What's this week 16 or
Yeah,
game
going into
16?
week 17, yes.
Okay.
Or
So after next week, everybody will know
mhm.
exactly where they are, and then we'll come back and talk about that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Oh, just finished up. I got my timer set because I'm trying to keep us on point.
Right.
Uh,
Oh, let me go back and talk to you about this real quick, and then we'll move on, and you can talk about college sports. So early in the
I'm gonna
year,
give you 60 seconds.
all right, we had an earlier we had a discussion
Hmm.
about Hall of Famers, and I asked you about Adrian Peterson, and you said that he's not a Hall of Famer, and I was like,
You bringing
what?
this up, huh?
Yeah, I got to, bro. I got to, because you did acknowledge me that I was right, but it wasn't on camera. So why
Yeah.
don't you go back and recap what you said, and then go back and then tell the viewers
So
that you had
during
to apologize to me.
so during the during the debate, I didn't say he wasn't a Hall of Famer. I say I didn't think he was a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I think that's what I said because I
No, I
thought he
watched it today,
yeah
bro.
I thought he was what number 9 or 10 ranked running back of all time. And to me, that wasn't really that still could have been a first ballot, but I didn't remember much about his playing days, and maybe it was because I was caught off guard. I don't know, but as soon as I went back and started doing some research, and this dude is offensive rookie of the year, and he ran for over 2,000 yards, and he's not number 9 all time. He's number 5 all time. That's what
Right.
did it for me. I was like, damn, I didn't know he was number 5 all time. So
Well, well,
yeah,
well, well,
right,
here's the thing. Here's the thing about that, Jack.
yeah,
He played in Minnesota.
yeah,
So, it's not like he played for the Steelers or the
yeah,
Cowboys or
yeah,
even the 49ers, right?
yeah,
However, his first 10 years, he wasn't injured or anything like that.
right,
Right. He probably ran for 1,500 yards. I mean, excuse me. Probably ran 50 for, yeah, probably ran for about an average in those 10 years about 12, 1,300 yards.
Oh yeah, yeah, probably so. You
So he
know,
was like 13, like probably 13,000 yards or something
yeah,
crazy number like that
yeah. I
after
think
10 years.
he was league MVP one year, which I had forgotten about. And I shouldn't have forgotten about it because he's from Texas. Like I know Adrian Peterson. He's from
Palestine,
Palestine,
Texas.
Texas.
Yep.
Yeah. And he is a dope running back. And yeah, I do believe that you were right, and he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Moving on, baby. Let's talk about the college playoffs that just occurred this weekend. And there was a Texas team involved. And so let's start with that game since that was the first game of the two games this weekend. TCU versus Michigan. And so my thoughts before the game was that TCU couldn't handle Michigan. I thought Michigan was too physical. I thought they were too big. I thought they had momentum. I thought they were hungry. You know, they made the playoffs last year and they lost in the semis. And a lot of times teams are like, well, you know, once they lose, that hunger and that chip on their shoulder builds and it propels them forward. So that's what I sort of thought looking at Michigan.
Especially if their team is intact
Yeah,
for the most part. Everybody comes back. Now they lost their big pass rusher that went to Detroit, and
yeah,
I think
Aiden
they lost.
Hutchins. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think they lost one other guy that was pretty good that went to the pros too on that defense, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
you're right. Normally, if you got everybody back, especially your quarterback
yeah.
and maybe a big time player, another big time player or two.
Yeah, so, and they beat Ohio State.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, these guys are rolling. Uh, it wasn't even close. And TCU demolished these boys. TCU was leading the whole game. Uh, Now Michigan made it closer than what it really was, to be honest, because uh, just watching the game, TCU's defense was on it from jump. They were physical. They were running through guys. They returned a pick for a touchdown. That was their very first score, you know. And so uh, you know, I was really impressed with TCU. And so they will be uh representing Texas in the national championship game versus Georgia uh next Monday. And I don't know, did you watch the game? What were your thoughts?
Well, I didn't watch the game, but I went back and watched I've been watching our tapes
Okay.
or videos that we've been doing in the past. And one of the things we had talked about that I want to bring up, I said that both teams' defenses were really good,
Yep.
right? Statistically, everything, right?
Yep.
And the one thing I always say, technically they say, oh, well, Michigan is in a bigger and better conference. They play better teams, that type of.
Right. Right.
But here's the thing that I noticed since I moved to Texas, man. I Texas high school football is awesome here because of how they use the athletic period to get more practice time and more weight time. Most people, a lot of, so they get more time in the classroom, more
Yep.
time in the weight room
Yep.
before the school day is out. And then
Yep.
they go out and practice like everybody else. But they already put another 90 minutes in their day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and most of their recruits, I bet you probably 95% of their recruits are from Texas.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so, so when you look at Texas high school football, the way they do that, and yeah, it's a little bit of a matchup situation when you talk
Mhm.
about Michigan is in the Big Ten and they play those all big schools compared to what TCU plays, right?
And the recruits that they recruit are
Right, right.
supposedly better and bigger.
National
Yeah.
recruits,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But the way Texas high school football trains and practices, they right there in there with them, man.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
never seen these guys train like they do, right?
yeah. Now I don't know how Michigan trains, but I think Michigan they don't just get recruits from Michigan. They get recruits from all
No,
over.
they're a national program. They
Yeah.
got their national brand back. Definitely,
So
they've caught up to Ohio State at
yeah.
least in the conference. You know, in their conference.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is, and this is what I made the statement that they defense, both their defenses are good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Michigan is ground and pound,
Yep.
and TCU is more offensive finesse, and the finesse offensive finesse team won
Yeah.
because both
They
the
spread
defenses were
team.
just about the same.
Right. 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 Both defenses were tough, but Michigan. Yeah, I didn't think TCU's offense would be able to do that on Michigan's defense, but they definitely did. One other point to make. Uh, TCU has a guy named Savion Williams. He is from Marshall, Texas, my hometown. Oh, what number was he? Can't remember what number he was. Might have been 16. But they targeted. He's a big guy, man. Like maybe a sophomore. They targeted him a few times. I don't remember him having any catches. Let me look at the stats real quick. Yeah, I remember them targeting him downfield a few times, but they overthrew him. But so he didn't have any catches. But nevertheless, my little homie from Marshall, Texas, Savion Williams, salute you, brother. You will be playing in the national championship game. All of
Wow.
Marshall will be proud and watching, rooting you guys on.
Yeah,
Now,
I guess I used to do a lot of football camps for TCU.
yeah,
Gary Patterson was there.
yeah,
And so I guess I have some sentimental ties with that because
absolutely.
they used to come and do camps at Katy
Okay,
when Gary Patterson was there,
yeah,
and he was there like what 15, 17 years or
yeah,
something.
yeah, almost 20. Yeah, one
Yeah.
of one of the best speakers I ever saw at coaching school was Gary Patterson.
Oh,
I
really?
love, yeah, man.
What do you remember?
I remember his speech was great.
But I
I
mean,
was in
like,
awe of him, but yeah, it was a while back. I don't remember the speech.
but you remember that? Oh, I got you.
Yes, yes, I remember Gary Patterson in the big room, and I remember enjoying it thoroughly. Uh, let's talk about Ohio State versus Georgia. Now, this is one where I thought Georgia was gonna, and Ohio State, I guess, is a physical team as well, but I really thought Georgia would blow them out as well, and it wasn't that way. Like Ohio State led the entire game,
Yeah, they gave that game away, bro. I'm
and
sorry.
well, how do you Georgia took it? Georgia took
Well,
it.
I'm, I'm,
I'm not sure they could have done
that's your
much to
interpretation.
win that game.
That's your interpretation. When you're winning, right? You two things you need to do. Don't turn the ball over, number one. And even if you have to punt, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to get two or three first downs. So you cut the time down on the clock. Like if you get the ball kicked to you and you start at the 25, you can't be 3 and out.
I'm,
So at
I'm
least if you
I'm
get
sure their coaches know that.
no. I'm saying that we're having this conversation and they were winning the whole game and they were in control the whole game. And to me, they should have won that game like TCU won it, meaning that they were winning and TCU just kept scoring and kept making plays
But
and all of that. Didn't give them a chance to come back and win.
Georgia, not Michigan, though. Georgia's a beast.
Yeah, I just think that Ohio State's going to be sick
Yeah.
to be winning. They play 60 minutes and they were winning 54, 55 minutes of the game.
So, and let not to place blame on anyone, but Ohio State did drive down the field for a last second field goal, and it was shanked. It wasn't even close. I know there's a lot of pressure on a kicker, and it wasn't even a chip shot. It was at the very end of his range. It was about a 50-yarder. And I
2 minute
think
warning, 2 minute warning, Jack. I don't know if you can see
yeah,
the timer.
yeah. No, I got it. So it wasn't even a chip shot field goal, but their offense drove down the field, and they could have gotten him closer, but Georgia's defense didn't allow it. Georgia's defense almost got a sack on that third down, which would have took them definitely out of field goal range. So, uh, you know, I mean, I'm giving all of that comeback to Georgia, and I have, yeah, we got, and so, and I'm an SEC guy, so I was rooting for Georgia, but I have a partner who coaches for Ohio State. So I was feeling him, and if Ohio State had a won, I'd have been happy for him. His name is Perry Eliano. We were both safeties for Stephen F. Austin for the Lumberjacks. I'm a proud alumnus of Stephen F. Austin State University. We played safety. He was a free, I was a strong. He was a year behind me, but he went into the coaching ranks, and yeah, he's coaching safeties and corners at Ohio State right now. So uh, my teammate, man, he was right next to uh, Kirby Smart when the field goal didn't go through, and they showed both of them. Both of them heads just hanging low, just dejected. I felt really bad at that moment because one of the other best coaching school seminars of all time I went to was Kirby Smart. I don't know if you remember when Georgia went to the national title the first time and lost to Alabama. He was at the THSCA coaching school the very next year, and I got to ask him a question.
Okay.
So that was really a highlight for me. And
What'd you ask him?
I asked him, uh, you know, it was something along the lines of, uh, how was Alabama able to come back on you guys with a freshman quarterback in the second half? And he was matter of fact. He was like, Tua just beat us. The quarterback just beat our defense. But yeah, his seminar was great too. So seeing those two right next to each other, man, it really hurt. But no, my bad. Seeing Perry next to Ryan Day.
Okay.
Yes. Kirby Smart won the game, which I was happy for. But seeing Perry next to Ryan Day as the field goal was shanked left, both of them dejected. That was, sort of, because I really wanted to see Perry do something, you know what I'm saying? We had battles on the field because he was a freshman, I was a sophomore, and he was getting more playing time than me, and I was trying to prove myself type of thing. But he was a good safety, really
This
good
is in
safety in
college,
college.
right?
Yes, yeah, he was a good safety in college. I'm gonna try and get him on the podcast, bro. Is what I'm gonna try and do. I'm gonna reach out to him.
Yeah, probably gonna take a little while, bro.
See if he can come on Jackson versus Jackson. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, not now. I know his
yeah.
ego
It
got a
has to be.
heel. You know what I'm saying?
It'd have to be way after the
Nah.
championship game, bro.
Yeah,
Between
yeah.
now and then, bro,
Yeah,
you need to call him and make sure he ain't walking around smoking cigarette butts with his
make
left
sure
hand.
he ain't on suicide watch or something.
Nah, I pray that it's not that bad. I don't say walking around like see cigarette butts on the ground and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like the old bums. You know what I mean? If you got a
yeah.
cigarette, nah, I said, never mind, I'll go find one myself.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Uh,
Yeah,
but
Heartbreak City, bro.
congratulations, Georgia. Shout out to Perry, Ohio State. Y'all did a great job. Uh, let's move on to the NFL playoffs, bro. And let's talk about that. Let's see how that lines up right now. So just looking at the standings, let's look at the AFC real quick.
Yeah, first you said it was gonna be the Titans, right? Nashville. What's the Nashville team? The Titans.
What do you mean?
Well,
We're talking about play. No, I'm talking about just playoffs in general. I'm
no, no,
just.
no, no. But I'm trying to lead into it. You said we talked a few weeks ago. You said
Oh,
people picking Kansas City. Now I'm picking the Titans. And then
so
the next week when the Bengals beat you, said, "Oh,
dog,
I think it's the Bengals." And then
No, I
So
didn't.
who you
I
got this
didn't.
week, bro?
I was no. Well, it's not. We're not really picking. I'm just going down by what I see the
I
records.
got you.
But
But
I
who
see
you
what
got?
I remember what you're talking about,
Right,
and I
right,
did because we were trying to pick Super Bowl opponent. And anybody could pick the Chiefs.
right.
You know what
I
I'm
get you.
saying?
I get
Anybody
you.
could pick Buffalo, so I was trying to pick somebody that's not the Chiefs or Buffalo,
Right,
and
but
I
you got to pick who you believe still too. So that's what I'm
who
saying.
I believed that's not the Chiefs or Buffalo. And
Okay.
yeah, I at that point they weren't on a 5 game losing streak.
Right. Well, that's what I'm
You know what I'm
saying.
saying?
So
So I
that's what I'm
really did
saying.
believe in them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Just
But
but just for a few weeks.
no, uh, I'm just saying, like, I guess if y'all
You
want, if
jumped
y'all
up.
want to get to the Super Bowl, don't have me pick you as the winner,
But what you
because it
did
ain't
was
gonna
you
happen.
you jumped up the cruise ship into a lifeboat.
No, I mean I did. We haven't had any picks since then, so I think that was my last pick. But
And
when they lost to
how,
the Texans, you could lose to the Cowboys, but when you lose to the Texans, you know what I'm saying? Like, but this is what I will say. So Jacksonville and Tennessee will battle it out for the division title next week, and the de facto last position in the AFC playoffs. Everybody else sort of has a position already. Kansas
wow,
City,
that's a playoff game, huh?
basically. And it didn't matter what happened last week, this week, or this past weekend. It only matters what happens when those two battle each other.
Hope Jacksonville win. Just because um, they are young and up and coming team,
Uh huh.
and and
Yeah,
and
and
nobody wanted to take that division.
Trevor Lawrence has been playing a lot better, but that's the thing. Like this league, he played shitty in the beginning of the year, and Tennessee was playing really well, and now the tides have turned. The quarterback is playing real, and that's really the difference. Like he is looking like the franchise quarterback that they drafted, where last year and parts of this year he didn't look like that. But they've sort of turned that corner. But it's really a 3-man race between Kansas City, Buffalo, and Cincinnati in the AFC. That's my opinion. I feel like the wild cards right now are the Chargers, uh, who you know they have a nice quarterback, but not a whole lot else. Uh, Baltimore, who don't have their quarterback and not a lot else, and New England. Those are the three wild cards right now. So I don't see any of them breaking through. It's really going to be Kansas City, Buffalo, or Cincinnati, in my opinion, in the AFC. Man, you want to break down the NFC, or
Yeah,
do
I'll
you
do
have
a
do you
little.
have it?
I'll do a little bit, and you can give me because I know you got all the where they ranked at. But let me just start with this.
Uh-huh.
So I think the last time we talked, this was before the Cowboys played the Eagles on in Arlington,
Yeah.
Christmas Eve. So you put out there, well, who do you think is the top dog right now? And I said, well, I mean, I was objective. I said Eagles because the Eagles beat the Cowboys. That's what I said. I said, however, if the Cowboys hold serve and win when they come Christmas Eve, they could probably catch them to make the to challenge for the division. Not quite there, even though they did win the game. But now that the Cowboys beat the Eagles,
Mm-hmm.
I still would have to put San Francisco 49ers the way they've been playing, consistently beating teams. And they won a big game against the Raiders. What was it, last night or yesterday or whatever it was?
Yeah.
So, I think what they on like a 5 or 6 game winning streak after having a shaky start.
Yeah.
So I think they're the hottest team in the NFC.
So next week's gonna be huge for the NFC East because they all play each other and they are all in the playoffs right now.
Commanders too.
Well, let me look at that.
I don't think the Commanders is in there. I know the Giants and the Cowboys and the Eagles, I think they all three clinched.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I had to scroll down. Okay, yeah. You're right. But the Commanders are right there, and and they're a team that can beat the Cowboys. Philadelphia plays the Giants next
Mhm.
week, and Washington plays Dallas. So Dallas and Philadelphia split this year, right?
Yep.
And they are only Philadelphia is a game ahead of Dallas.
So if you say the Giants beat the Eagles and the
Uh,
Cowboys,
beat Washington,
then they'll have the same record.
they will have the same record with a split head to head.
Huh.
Yeah. So I don't know
So,
how they're
so
going to break that tie.
well, but you know what, man? The Giants, where they playing that game at?
Uh, looks like it is at Philadelphia.
Yeah, the Giants didn't help the Cowboys at all when they played the Philly, probably in like week 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
And because I was hoping that the Eagles would win, and then the game between the game between the Cowboys and the Eagles, and the Cowboys win, then they would have been tied, right, going
Mm-hmm.
into the last week of the season. That's
Yep.
kind of how I was calculating when I talked to you about where I felt they were a couple of
Okay.
weeks before the. But now, man, I mean, the Giants, they had a good year, a real respectable year. This is probably the first playoff year they had in like 3 or 4 years.
Yep. Yep.
And but they just didn't. They was at home, and the Eagles just trounced them. So we ain't gonna get no help from them. Matter of fact, shoot, the Giants would hate for us. They hate Philly, but they hate us more. So they probably, you know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna win. Look, we ain't gonna beat the Eagles to help the Cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah. And the
So
Giants are in, so even if they lost, they'd still be in.
oh yeah, all those teams made the playoffs.
Yeah. The
It's all
only
about
one,
positioning now.
well, the last wild card is still up for grabs.
Oh, okay.
Seattle is in it right now. They're 8-8. Detroit is 8-8, and Green Bay is 8-8,
Oh
and
wow.
Washington is 7-8-1. So they have, I guess, an outside shot of getting it. But
Well,
they
if they win and they eight, if they they'd be
eight,
8-1,
yeah. Then
and those
both
and those teams are eight
would
eight.
have to lose. They'd have to be eight
Yeah,
and nine. Yeah.
right, exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they still, like you said, they got to win.
Mm-hmm.
And shoot, if one of those teams lose, they get in, right? Or it's one spot between all three of them.
Well, this is the problem. Detroit plays Green Bay next week, so one of them gonna win.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Probably.
watch.
Well, I hope Detroit win, to be honest,
Me too. Me
because
too.
they played so hard this year, and they've
Hmm.
been hard. They've been bad. So where's that game going to be? Does it say?
Yeah. They are playing at Green Bay,
Oh wow.
and Detroit is coached by a former Aggie, Dan Campbell, who's a tight end at A&M. So, and their defensive coordinator is Aaron Glenn, who was
Yeah.
an All-American cornerback for A&M,
Right. Right.
and
Play with the
played for the
Jets,
Tech and played for the Texans as
Texans, and the
well.
Jets.
So,
Yep.
I'm
I
rooting
would
for
like
those
them.
guys. Definitely.
Hey, I ain't got no love for Green Bay the way they treat the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Exactly, man. So that's a rundown of the playoffs, man. Good deal, brother. Uh, it's gonna be very interesting. This playoffs because something always happens that you don't expect. I'm just wondering what's that gonna be this year. Generally the Cowboys and Green Bay always have a game. That's quirky. So if Green Bay makes it in, I feel like
they'll end up playing each other.
they'll end up playing each other and
Well,
something
well,
crazy
well.
will
Here's
happen.
my thing, right? If Green Bay wins, they win their division, right?
Yeah, they're in the same division. Absolutely.
Cowboys, unless the Cowboys win and the Eagles lose, and then whatever the tiebreaker is for that, then they would win their division. So, but they got to win. Eagles
Mm.
got to lose, and then wherever that tiebreaker is, I don't know what is it? Is it points differential or points head to head or what?
No, they wouldn't win the division because Minnesota is the division leader.
Oh,
over
okay,
there.
okay, in
Yeah.
Central. Okay, I got you.
Yep.
I
Yep.
got you.
Yep.
Yeah, well, let me tell you this: the Cowboys really have not beat beaten the Green Bay Packers when it counted. Like the last 4 years or last four playoff years,
Mm-hmm.
let's say that's over like 6 or 7 years. Green Bay has always beat them. I use this scenario: the Cowboys haven't done anything in the last 10 years against Green Bay since the Dak catch excuse me, Dez catch, no catch.
Des Bryant catch, no catch, right.
He caught it, and the official marked it. They went to station break after they came together, and they changed the freaking call, bro.
Yeah, man. Hey, one of
That was the
those.
most disgusting thing I ever saw.
It was.
They
It was.
changed the
It was
call,
egregious,
bro. They changed the call,
and then they
and
didn't overturn it on replay. Like replay showed it was a catch,
right.
but
Well, what
they
happened was,
made up some funky rule. It was just like the tuck rule,
yeah,
something you
but
ain't never heard of in your life. They made up.
yeah, but what I'm saying is, bro, he jumped and caught the ball on the 6 yard line, right?
Yeah,
Took 2 steps, and then he launched himself to the goal line.
it would be a
So it wasn't
touchdown.
like he caught it falling down.
Mm-hmm.
He jumped up over the guy. He caught it at about the 6.
Mm-hmm.
The defensive back didn't even know where he was. He jumped over him. So then he came down on 2 feet,
Yep.
took 2 steps, which would have took him to about the 3 yard line.
Mm-hmm.
Then he launched, and the official marked it down at the half-yard line.
Right.
And then they
Yeah.
got together. Because see, what happens is if you catch the ball while you fall into the ground without having 2 feet established,
Yep.
you gotta have the ball all the way to the ground and get up and give it
Absolutely.
to the official.
Right. Right. Right.
But he caught the ball. And how the heck is he gonna catch the ball at the 6
Yeah.
and get to the goal line without running like a football play, right?
Hey man, I see that's still eating you up, man.
I
It's been
guess
like 10 years, but I know it's
right,
probably
but
eating more Cowboy fans than just you up.
well, but that's the last time they really, really, really had a chance to go. Because here, let me give you some background. So the hot
I
team.
know the background,
No, no,
man.
no, no, no. Let me give you my perspective. The hot team was Seattle at the time. Well,
Uh-huh.
the Cowboys went up to Seattle and busted them in the face. They busted them all up.
Yeah.
So if they
Yeah.
would have won that game, they would have played Seattle in Seattle, and they just went up there and beat them. They weren't intimidated by them.
Right.
But
Right.
Green Bay, they flipped the call. Green Bay goes up there, and Seattle wears Green Bay out.
Right. No, I understand that, man. That's that's what uh every time y'all play Green Bay, those are the feelings that are conjured up. I get it. So before we end this, before we get off here, and thank you guys for listening and watching. Subscribe, uh, and like the video. Uh, let's get some hot takes going, man. Uh, so a hot take is something that that you don't expect to see that maybe you'll see in the playoffs. What's your hot take moving forward? Let me start it off just to give you an example.
Okay.
So, and I hope this doesn't happen, but it looks like Tampa Bay is going to squeak into the playoffs. But my hot take is that they're going to get hot and they're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl.
Got Tom Brady, bro.
Is that a hot take? I mean, they suck. They're not very good, but they do have Tom Brady. But I think that's a hot take.
Once you get in the playoffs, bro, it could be anybody's game. I mean, of course, if you got the number 1 seed and you get that bye,
Uh-huh.
that gives you an advantage, and also you're going to play all your games at home. But
Yeah, they're going
Tom
to play
Brady.
all theirs on the road.
Well, no, no, no.
The
I
first
was
one because they're division champ.
no, 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 no. I know, but I'm saying that I was given a scenario.
Yeah,
If you're the number 1 seed,
yeah,
you get a week off, and
yeah.
then you play
Mm-hmm.
all games at home as you win,
Already.
right? But in not having that scenario, but you got Tom Brady, it might not matter until you actually knock him out the playoffs. The
Okay.
best thing was to not to let him get in the playoffs. And let me give a
So,
shout out to their coach Todd Bowles.
Uh-huh.
Todd Bowles is from Elizabeth, New Jersey. He's the same. He went to the same high school I
Okay.
did.
Go ahead,
Yeah, yeah.
Todd Bowles.
And Todd is the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now. I graduated from Elizabeth High School in 1980. He graduated in 1981. He went to Temple, and then from Temple he went to which was called the Washington Redskins as a safety, and he won
Okay.
his first Super Bowl with Doug Williams was the quarterback against the Denver Broncos back in 1987.
So did you know him in high school?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We
Okay.
just call him the Tidy Bowl man, Todd
Oh,
Bowl.
this is your first time telling me that, man.
No, I think I may have mentioned it, but maybe we didn't realize it.
Maybe we
At the
ain't,
time.
maybe we're not good enough friends, man. I'm sure you
Nah.
told all your good friends that.
Well, let me tell you another
Tell
person
me.
that's I'm connected to. Raheem Morris,
You
the
did tell me that.
right, the defensive coordinator for the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I was so
Who was
proud of him.
once a head coach of the Buccaneers.
Absolutely, yeah. He
Yeah.
was their defensive back coach, and then he got
Got the head
promoted to
job.
defense. Then he got promoted to defensive coordinator,
Okay, for a
and
year.
then they cleared house because they had salary cap situations,
Yeah.
and then they promoted him to head coach. So he coached 3 years
Mm-hmm.
as the head coach of Tampa Bay. He was like one of the youngest head coaches
At the
in
time.
the
Yeah.
NFL for about
Mm-hmm.
3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was with Atlanta, and I guess this is my take. He was at Atlanta
Okay.
coaching wide receivers when they went to the Super Bowl here in Houston against Tom Brady, and they just couldn't finish the deal. So
Yeah.
he was hurt, but then he went to L.A. last year as the defensive coordinator, and he finally got a Super Bowl ring after. I think he's been to the Super Bowl. Well, I know he's with Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was on the team. I have to double check. I think he was on the team in some capacity when Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl back when Derek Brooks was playing.
Okay. Yeah, he may
I
have been.
think
Absolutely.
I
Mm-hmm.
think so, but let me double check that.
Right. Right. Good deal, man. Good deal. So what's your hot take?
Man, you know,
I know
man,
I put you on the spot, brother. I'm
I
sorry.
hey man, I would love to see my Cowboys win a
It's not,
playoff game because that's right now. No, right now that's what that's the thing, and
that's a
then
hot take right now? Really?
yeah,
That the Cowboys win a playoff game?
yeah, because here's the deal, right? We got fake Cowboy fans out there. Like when Tony Romo was our quarterback and all these things happened and he played 10 years and he had his opportunity and he could have been the first minority non-melanin quarterback to
Mm-hmm.
win a Super Bowl, but it didn't happen.
Okay.
So we got a lot of fake Cowboy fans out there
Yeah.
that because of Tony Romo's culture and he didn't win, bruh, there was I'm sure some people was how man, we live in America, bruh, and
Mm-hmm.
people get on social media and they say all kinds of crude stuff. Now, I'm not keyed into that because I don't live my life like that. And
Right.
but
Right.
what I'm saying to you is, and I put this on Facebook a lot, because people will say stuff like Dak's not smart enough. Now we understand when you talk about black people like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from me, you're gonna get some fire, okay? Because that's not analysis, right? That to me,
Mm-hmm.
that's stepping over the line, right?
Absolutely.
And people have said that about African Americans all my life, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not. So you could say, well, he threw too many interceptions. He's got the most interceptions, stuff like that. But when you make it personal, and then my detection of my racism radar goes off,
Yeah.
I start talking like this.
No, I
So
get you.
we got people, right,
So
who don't want to see Dak win a Super Bowl because of his culture. Now I know people say, "Oh man, no." We got people like that, and so
so
one
I'm
of the
still
reasons.
unsure of what your hot take is, bro.
Well,
What's your hot take?
let me rant, bro. Let me get my rant right. Because your hot take was what your hot take was. So I'm gonna get. I said that I hope they at least win a playoff game. They
No,
need a playoff game,
the hot take is what you expect. Something
right?
huge or out of there.
I expect them this year to not get knocked out in the first playoff game. And one of the reasons why I believe that is even though Dak has thrown some interceptions, right? They said he's thrown the most interceptions since he came back, but the offense is high powered since he came back. Rush kept the boat afloat, but he ain't scored no 35 points a game under center. The defense took over most of the games when Rush was there at quarterback in the first part of the season when Dak broke his thumb. So I'm hoping hope offense still gets their 35 points a game with Dak, but I hope the defense returns how they were like in the first 4 or 5 games of the season.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think that so what I'm saying is I like to see the Cowboys not be one and done because that's what a lot of even so-called fake Cowboy fans are saying. Oh, Dak's not smart enough to lead um, Cowboy Nation. I mean, bro, we got
So
people that if they
I think
Cowboy
that
fans,
that's something that Cowboy fans invented. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say Dak's not smart enough.
bro, let me tell you this, Jack, I'm telling you this. I'm in a couple of chat rooms and there are
I,
some people, bro.
yeah,
I'm
they're trying
just
to get under your skin, bro. They don't mean
well,
that shit. They just saying shit just to get under
no,
because they know
no,
it's a
no,
bunch of
no,
Cowboy fans in there.
no. Let me tell you, bro. You on the outside, I'm telling you. You're right about some people like that, and some of these are not Cowboy fans. They just logged in.
They
I get
trolling.
Cowboy.
Yeah.
Right, right. But there is a percentage, bro, of people that are upset that they didn't want. Look, Tony Romo, if he'd have won a Super Bowl with the Cowboys, he would have been the first minority, non-white quarterback to win a Super Bowl for the Cowboys. It didn't happen.
Who?
So now Dak's in that role,
You said
right?
Tony Romo is white, ain't he?
His heritage is Mexican American. So when he didn't win, I can imagine the racist people talking about his heritage and I mean, because that's just how racism is. So we got people that went through that, Jack, and now they're projecting because misery likes company with some people, and so, bro, I'm telling you, you in these chat rooms, bro, they say stuff,
I
bro.
get it.
So,
I'm in some A&M chat rooms. I know what they can say.
yeah,
They
yeah,
can
and
be
that's what I'm
brutal,
saying,
especially towards us.
and so what I'm saying to you is, right,
Hmm.
I'm down for analysis like we do, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I never call no. I mean, the Cowboys have had I don't know 20 quarterbacks in their career, and only two have won Super Bowls, right?
Yep.
So even some of the worst quarterbacks when they were 5-11 under Dave Campo for 3 straight years, they were embarrassment, but they still was my team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wanted Tony Romo to win a Super Bowl for the Cowboys because he was my team's quarterback. Didn't matter what his racial ethnicity was or his grandparents or anything like that. So I feel the
Right.
same way about that. But let me give you a hard example, right? I'm 60 years old, right? So I started watching the Cowboys right around when I was 10, right? In the 60s, most of the 60s, the Cowboys had an all white team. These are facts. And then what happened was Bum Bryant and those guys. This is way in the late 60s and 70s. They started, bro. Listen to me.
I'm
This is their
listening.
history. They started drafting HBCU at this time black players.
Uh-huh.
So I'll give you an example. Bullet Bob Hayes, that won the Olympics, the sprints in the Olympics, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Went to Florida A&M. The Cowboys drafted him. Rayfield Wright, their offensive tackle, he's about 6'6", 6'7" back in that day in the early 70s, went to a black college. So when they started getting those guys, they started not only make the playoffs, they won Super Bowls. That's a fact. But when they started drafting these guys out of the black colleges, the Dallas fan base, right? Cats that you see in the Cotton Bowl back then, and we wasn't no part of that. Bro, they went berserk, bro. And I remember this at 10 years old. They didn't want no black players, bro. They didn't want us.
But that was
But
probably
once
the
they
whole league, man. It wasn't just
no,
Dallas.
but I'm talking about the history of the Cowboys, bro. See, a lot of times that's why people say, "Well, man, how can you cheer for the Cowboys and you got a racist owner like Jerry Jones?" I said, "Bro, I used to like the Cowboys before I even knew who Jerry Jones was."
They
Now that
all racist.
well,
Most of
yeah,
them,
yeah, but see, Jerry Jones gets more attention with it because he's running
because
his mouth.
he bring the attention on himself.
Absolutely,
But it's
absolutely.
a lot of racist owners out there.
Oh, absolutely, bro. We already know that, but they smart enough not to go
Keep
on
their mouth
camera.
shut. Yeah,
Yeah, so they
yeah.
don't say something stupid.
Right, right.
Right? So that's the history of the Cowboys, man. I mean, they didn't
So
start winning,
I didn't ask
bro. They
for the
didn't,
history, but I'm glad you gave it to me, brother.
bro. I mean, but this is a talk show, and we talking about our teams, right? You know,
Hey man, the Texans don't have a whole lot of history.
they got 20 years.
They took the Oilers away from here, so they took all our history. You know what
No,
I'm
they building
saying?
their own history. But the
Hey
owner
man,
who died, he did a lot for the city and brought the team and everything. But one of his last comments talking about the prisoners are not
you
going to
gonna
run.
do that, man? We
Oh
gonna do
yeah, I'm
that
gonna do
here.
that.
We ain't
I'm gonna do that, bro.
we ain't even nobody asked you to do that. We about to
I'm
run
I'm
out of
I'm
time.
bro.
We
I'm gonna do it.
don't need to go there, man.
I'm gonna do it,
Let the man rest, bro.
bro. Bro. I can't control
This is
what
what
he's
I will
doing,
say.
but I'm
But
saying he did
he was
everything.
a
Look, he
much
did.
better owner than his son.
Oh,
Much
absolutely,
better, much more effective.
bro. He
I
brought the
mean,
team. He brought the team back. I give him credit,
bro,
but that caveat
he ain't bring them back. They always,
before he left this earth rubbed a lot of people the wrong way,
oh,
and a lot of
it
they,
was all
bro.
it just he stick his foot in his mouth. That happens. Move on, man. Like if you so I'm I'm just as pro black as you, man. Don't act like you more pro black than me just because I want to let a white man rest. Let him rest, bro.
No. Here's my thing,
Shit.
right? What I'm saying to you is when African Americans do something, they never get a chance to live it down. Like when something happens, that's why when we talked about Brett Favre, I don't
But
think
that's a
that. Wait, hold on.
I hear
Well, I don't
you.
think that our listeners. Well, I said, bro, no, he's a public figure. He played in the NFL. He's a Hall of Famer. So what he says and does matter. Now, Brett
I
Favre,
didn't give a I said I didn't give a damn about Brett Favre. I
right?
didn't think our listeners
But
did
I
either.
did because he stole money from people that needed it,
Mm-hmm.
and that was his university that he funneled money to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he got caught, so he gave it back. So with him giving it back, that's supposed to wash his hands, right? And he didn't make no public statements. The NFL didn't say anything. They do us differently. They do them.
Oh yeah.
Jerry Jones, the situation with Jerry Jones, they act like it didn't happen. He got a paternity suit. Young lady shows up and said, "You're my dad." He's like, "Huh? No, no, I'm not." And then he lawyers up, right?
You didn't have to lawyer you up to that chick.
Bro,
He
that's
wasn't even,
that's potentially his daughter, bro.
it is his
And if it's
daughter,
his
man.
daughter, he should fess up,
If
and
you
because they would be talking about black athletes
bro,
crazy.
if you paying for somebody, whether you have a paternity test or not, that's your child. The courts are gonna say it's your child. You've been giving child support all this time, then you're acknowledging that's your child. You
He
can't
didn't
just
give
say
child support.
he
He
gave a
he
lot of money
right.
that in
He threw money
essence
to
it
her
was
so they
big it
would keep
was
quiet. He threw money to her so they would keep quiet.
no,
And
that's part of
somebody
it. And then he also gave money to the daughter like a trust fund or something.
right, but what I'm saying
So
to
it's
you
just
is
it's
he
that
walking around here. The young girl spilled she told her story to the press.
I get that. I get that.
Wait a minute, let me finish. They investigated it to make sure it was thorough. They went to Jerry Jones, right? No comment. They traced, she had the checks, the mothers had the checks and all of that. They showed him that it came from one of Jerry Jones' accounts or whatever, his accountant. And so now he couldn't deny it. But here's my problem with that, right? You doing all that stuff, right?
Hmm.
But you ain't saying, you know what? This is my daughter who I love. He lawyering up, man. He's a punk, man.
That's your owner, man. You want to call him a punk? Call him a punk.
In that
I'm
regard, is
tell
he's a dead. He's an emotional deadbeat dad, regardless. The lady's 25, whatever age she is, she wants to acknowledge that she wants to come and hug her dad, and he's lawyering up.
She want his money, bro. Let's be real.
She
This
already had
chick
his
don't want
money.
she ain't had enough. She want a piece of the pie. You act like she ain't doing this for a purpose too. Like
Brother.
she don't want everybody knows she Jerry Jones' that daughter. She want more than that. She want a piece of whatever Stephen Jones gets and his other daughter get. She want her piece of the pie. And if he give a DNA, if he give a paternity test, she'll get it. I promise.
Well,
That's why he ain't getting it.
he fighting it
Yeah.
not to do it because he can lawyer up and got money. But here's the deal. I said, go on Maury Povich, man. You pumpkin puss,
But
baby daddy.
I say go on Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey will handle it a lot better than Maury Povich, bro.
Now, Maury Povich is a
And
professional with that.
Steve Harvey is the new professional. Trust me. But he's not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it until the court.
I don't trust the two-win a fan.
He's not gonna do it until the courts force him to do it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He's lawyering up because he ain't gonna confirm or deny. But the lady, the mother and her got all these records and all of this. Even if Jerry Jones didn't sign the check, I mean, you could trace all of that, right? And here's the thing: Fox News. I forgot the game. The Cowboy game was on Christmas, and then they go. You know how they go to your halftime? They go to your local.
Yeah.
Fox News 26 here in Houston came out and said Jerry Jones is fighting having to produce a DNA test for his alleged daughter, who came out to say that Jerry Jones was her dad. And the NFL and stuff what I read, bro, they don't keep this stuff in the media very more, or if they love you and if you look like them and all of this. Roger Goodell hadn't said nothing. I looked around, he ain't said nothing. Same thing, Kraft, the owner, he out there in brothels and doing stuff like that.
Roger Goodell don't want to get put out of his position.
Of course
he worked for the owners.
I understand. I don't
want to piss him off.
But that doesn't mean right is not right. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And then let me end with this. The NFL needs to expand 2 teams. I think I told you this before, right?
Oh,
and the reason why they need to expand, because then they can designate the 2 teams. I said St. Louis and San Diego, because both of those teams had NFL teams for a long time, and San Diego Chargers left to go to LA for the new stadium and all the money, and the Rams got shafted by the Los Angeles Rams twice. But the reason why I say we need to expand, because that's the only way we're going to have minority ownership, where Jay-Z, Master P,
that's
all these people.
That's a longer conversation than time we got left, brother.
So well, maybe
we can get into that on the next show.
Right, that's good.
Cool, man. Hey, appreciate you being on here, bro. We done got a lot talked about, and we done went on a couple of rants, and hopefully you picked a hot take that wasn't a hot take, but
it was hot enough for me, bro. I'm sweating.
All right, man. Hey, and that is the timer. I don't know. Can you hear that?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. That's the timer, brother. So appreciate you, man.
Happy New Year, people.
Jackson versus Jackson. Happy New Year. Let's have a prosperous one. We love you. Until next time. Peace.
Go Cowboys. Go Cowboys.